Welcome once again. This is Further Solutions Academy. Please do well to share and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can reach us for any information, contribution, comment, or question on this contact. You can either call us, give us a call, or you can reach us on WhatsApp or on the Telegram social media through this number for any comments, contribution, question that you may have. So this is Further Solutions Academy. Please do well to share and subscribe. So today we'll be teaching, or we'll be having a lecture on chemistry as a continuation of our last class, which is Balancing Redox Reactions, in our last class, Balancing Redox Reaction. In our last class, we talked about balancing in a neutral medium. So today we'll be going through balancing in acidic medium as well as in a basic medium. Please do well to check the steps for balancing in our last class that was discussed, because we talked about the steps and it was actually detailed for you to understand it. So check on the steps. So today we are talking about balancing in acidic medium. Let's assume we have a question, MnO4 minus plus SN2 plus to give you Mn2 plus Sn4 plus. Now, the first step that we said earlier is that you do what? We divide your equation into half cell equation, the oxidation and the reduction. But for us to do that, you need to identify the oxidation and reduction sites. So this is +2, this is +4 as clearly given. So that is quite easy, and this is +2. But we don't know the oxidation number of manganese in this complex. So calculation of oxidation number of manganese, that's MnO4 minus, where this is X plus oxidation number is -2 times 4 is equals to this charge is all, or belongs to all of it, that's equals to -1. You may see -2 in some compounds, and if you don't see any charge here, it means it's equals to 0. So this is x plus -8 is equals to -1. So this is x minus 8 minus times plus -8 is equals to -1. So x is equals to -1 plus 8, x is equals to what? +7. So the oxidation number of manganese in that complex is actually what? +7. So if it is +7, then we can clearly state that manganese is being reduced from +7 to +2 based on our definitions of oxidation and reduction as given in the last video or in the last class. So this is the reduction. So for reduction, we have MnO4 minus to Mn2 plus. Remember, we said you have to divide them. So our oxidation is Sn2 plus to Sn4 plus, because there's an increase in oxidation number. So the next point says you should balance each atoms other than oxygen and hydrogen. We realize that manganese is 1 year, manganese is also 1 year, so it is balanced. Tin is 1 year and is also 1 year, which means it's actually balanced. Then the next point when you are balancing is that you balance the oxygen atom by adding water on the other side of the equation. So where do I have oxygen? I have oxygen here. Sometimes I may have my oxygen here. So you balance oxygen atom by adding water. How do we do that? So for the first one, for this first one, so that means I have MnO4 minus to Mn2 plus H2O. Now, my oxygen is 4 here. I've added water, but this water is just 1 molecule, which makes oxygen just 1 molecule. And because I want to balance the oxygen charges, so I had 4 here by making it 4 oxygen molecules. So now my oxygen molecule is balanced. and I'm done with the step. Then the next step says balance the hydrogen atom by adding hydrogen ion or proton on the other side. Because I have added water here, now some of you may be wondering, why do I want to balance my oxygen? Why didn't I just add oxygen? You can't add oxygen just like that. You add it in addition in form of water to balance your oxygen, and you make sure the number of moles of your water or the number of moles of the water you are adding is actually balancing the number of oxygen atom you have on the other side. So for instance, if I have something like SO3 and I have SO2 and I want to balance this oxygen together, what do? I add water. So this becomes SO3 because this is more than this. So that means I'm adding water here plus H2O. Now this is 2 oxygen plus 1 oxygen is balanced. I can just add 1 mole. Are you getting it? So that is how you balance the oxygen atoms, by adding water. And because I have added water, hydrogen has been introduced to this medium. And because hydrogen has been introduced, the next step says you balance by the hydrogen atom by adding hydrogen ion or proton on the other side. So how do I do that? That becomes MnO4 minus plus hydrogen ion to give you Mn2 plus 4H2O. Now, the hydrogen ion I'm adding needs to be balanced with the water molecules on the other side. Because here I have, my oxygen is 4 already, which is 4 molecules of oxygen for this 4, but my hydrogen is 8. So that means I need to add 8 molecules of hydrogen ion for this to be balanced. Now my manganese is 1, oxygen 4, hydrogen 8, and hydrogen 8. So that means this is balanced. Now, the next thing that you are supposed to do is to balance the number of charges. If you check the steps in our previous class, so the balancing the number of charges. But for you to do that, you need to know the oxidation number of each of the compounds or atom involved in the equation. Here, the oxidation number I'm concerned about is the overall oxidation number, because I'm not just dealing with manganese now. I need an overall charge. So that becomes -1 plus, this would have just been +1. But I can't use +1 because I'm dealing with hydrogen in 8 different places, 8 molecules of it. So hydrogen is not just +1 here, oxidation number, it becomes +8. So that means if I were dealing with 14H+, I'm going to be talking about what? +14 as my oxidation number for that hydrogen. So this is +8, and this is giving me what? +7. But right here I have +2, and there is no charge here. Remember I said where you don't have a charge here is 0. I didn't mean I had minus, that means it's -1. If I had +2, that means it's +2. But for water, there is no charge, it's neutral. So that means +2 + 0. So this is +2. So the charges are not balanced. Here I have +7, here I have +2. That means I must add 5 electrons to a place to balance the other one. And I said something in our last video, for your reduction half equation, you add your number of electrons on your left hand side. So that means I'm not confused about where to add it, I'm adding it on this side. So that becomes what? MnO4 minus plus 8H plus 5 electrons to give me what? Mn2 plus 4H2O. Now I have balanced my reduction half equation. So this becomes +7 + 5. That means, you know, electrons is negative. So meaning as I'm adding electrons, means I'm removing from it. That becomes +7 + 5. That's +2 + 2. Now my charges are balanced. But that is just for the reduction half equation. Let's go to the oxidation half equation. I have SN2+ to SN4+. I don't have oxygen, so I'm missing that step. I don't have hydrogen to balance, so I'm missing that step. But I have to balance the charges because this is +2 and this is +4. Now, for your oxidation half equation, you balance the charges by adding electrons to the right hand side. To the right hand side, the appropriate number of electrons. This is higher than this by 2 electrons. By 2 charges, that means 2 electrons. So I'm adding 2 electrons on the right hand side. That becomes what? +2 electrons. So this is +2, this is +4 minus 2. That is +2. So the charges are now balanced. The charges are now balanced. The next step says you balance the charges of each of them. They balance the charges of each of them in a way that you can eliminate the electrons. So if I want to do that, Here I have, okay, let me write it out. So I have MnO4 minus plus 8H plus 5E minus to give me Mn2 plus 4H2O. Then I have Sn2 plus to give me Sn4 plus 2 electrons. Now I have 2 electrons here, I have 5 electrons here. I cannot cancel them out. What do? I use my elimination method in mathematics. So how do I do that? This I multiply by 2 and this I multiply by 5. So this gives me 2 MnO4 minus plus 16H plus 10 electrons to give me 2 Mn2 plus 8H2O. Then the second one multiplied by 5 give me 5 Sn2 plus Sn4 plus 5 Sn4 plus, because I'm multiplying 2 by 5 Sn4 plus 10 electrons. Now my electrons are balanced and they can be cancelled out. Now the reason why they can be cancelled out is because they are on different sides of the equation. So this cancels this, and what am I left with? I am left with what? Combining the equations. So combining the equations, you had the reactant side with the reactant side and the product side with the product side. So the overall equation becomes 2MnO4 minus plus 16H plus nothing. This is gone, so I'm coming to the other reactant side of the equation 2, 5Sn2 plus, all is giving me 2Mn2 plus 8H2O, right? Plus 8H2O plus 5Sn4 plus. Sn4 plus. So this is the overall equation and it is the balanced equation. Okay, that is right. So this is how to balance in acidic medium. This is how to balance in acidic medium. Other times you may be given a, let's just play around. I would not solve this step by step, but I just want us to play around it. Let's assume we are giving Cr2O7 2 minus plus Pb. Let's say this is Pb 2 plus to Cr3 plus Pb 4 plus. Now this, if I want to do this, I will just stop halfway. I believe you can follow the steps to get the final equation. So if I want to do this, the first thing is I need to get the oxidation number of this. If you do that by the process earlier, you realize that this is plus 6, this is plus 3, this is plus 2, this is plus 4. So definitely this is reduction, this is oxidation. Now let me start with this, where we have Cr2O7 2 minus, right, to Cr3 plus. The first step, please, some people make mistakes of just balancing the oxygen. The first step you need to do is to balance all other atoms apart from oxygen. So what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to add 2 here. After this is done, I've balanced it. Then I can now balance the oxygen charge by adding water here. But the number of water I need to add is 7 because my oxygen here is 7. So that becomes 7. And because I have added this here, I need to balance my hydrogen atoms by adding hydrogen ion of proton on the other side. That becomes plus how many? I have 14 molecules of hydrogen here. That becomes plus 14H plus. So this is balanced. Then I can now add my electrons. How do I add my electrons? This is minus 2 plus 14. Then this is plus 6. Because this is not just 3. Just like hydrogen is 14, this is 3 plus, but 2 chromium atoms, that's plus 6, and this is neutral, 0. So I have this to be plus 12 and plus 6. And I said in your reduction half equation, you had your number of electrons on your left hand side. So this would have been plus 6 electrons. which I will be adding to this. That will give me Cl2O7 2 minus plus 14H plus 6 E my electrons, 2Cl3 plus 7H2O. Now that is my reduction half equation. For my oxidation half equation, I have something of Pb2 plus to Pb4 plus. So that means I need to add 2 electrons to this. That will be Pb2 plus to Pb4 plus 2 electrons. Like I said, you are adding your electrons on your right hand side for your oxidation half equation. Now this is 2 and this is 3. I need to eliminate them by balancing them. So it's better I multiply this by 1 and this by 3. If I do that, all of this remains the same. 6 electrons remain, but this changes to Pb2 plus to 3Pb2 plus 3Pb4 plus 6 electrons. Now this can cancel this. Then the last thing that is left is for us to combine the equation together. So I believe we have had 2 different examples. We just combine the reactant side with the reactant side and the product side with the product side. So the next thing we'll be talking about is balancing redox reaction in basic medium. Balancing redox reaction in basic medium. How do we do that in basic medium? Basic medium is just a simple step further from what we have done in our acidic medium. It's just a simple step further from what we have done in our acidic medium. And how do we do that? Okay, let's assume we have a question of Ag silver solid plus Zn2 plus aqueous to give you Ag2O aqueous plus Zn solid. Now, the first thing you should identify is what? The reduction and oxidation. Obviously, Zn here is 0 because it's uncombined, and here it is 2 plus. This is plus 2, this is 0. For moving from plus 2 to 0, I can obviously tell you that this is reducing because oxidation number is being reduced. And silver here is in 0 because it's uncombined, and right here it already has an oxidation number because we know that it is reacting. So obviously oxidation number there is plus 2. It's plus 2 if you calculate it from the steps shown earlier. This is 0, this is plus 2. So let's start with our oxidation half equation. So we have this to be Ag solid to Ag2O. Now remember the first step, balancing all other atoms apart from oxygen. Here I have 2 silver, here I have 1 silver. That means it will be appropriate for me to balance silver first. Then after balancing my silver, I need to balance my oxygen molecule. Remember from the basic acidic medium we did, our oxygen molecule was on this side. But here we have our oxygen molecule on the other side. But it needs to be balanced. And I told you that to balance your oxygen molecule, you need to do that by adding the appropriate number of water molecule. That becomes 2 Ag solid plus H2O. So I have just 1 oxygen here, I have just 1 oxygen here. So that means 1 molecule of water is enough. But because I added water, I have introduced hydrogen. And hydrogen needs to be added to balance, hydrogen ion needs to be added to balance this water that have been placed. So that means if I want to do that, I need to add H plus in form of proton. But how many protons am I adding? Because I have 2 hydrogen here, that means I am adding 2 protons here. So hydrogen is balanced, oxygen is balanced, and that is gone. So afterwards, what happens is I need to balance my electrons. I need to balance my number of electrons in the equation. And how do I do that? Here I have 0, here I have 0, here I have 0, and this is plus 2. So in my oxidation half equation, remember I said this is oxidation half equation. You are adding your electrons on your right hand side. So this is what? Plus 2 electrons, so that it can be plus 2 minus 2. So I have balanced charges. Why am I adding 2 again? Because this is This is 0, there's no charge here, there's no charge here, there's no charge here, but there's a charge here, which is +1, but hydrogen in 2 places now makes it +2. So this becomes +2 electrons, and the charge is balanced for my oxidation half equation. Let's quickly run through the reduction half equation. The reduction half equation for the reduction half equation, I have this to be Zn2 plus to Zn0, which we can see. Then Zn is 1, 1. That means it's balanced. I don't need to put 2 or balance the atom other than oxygen. But balancing oxygen is not possible because there is no oxygen there. There's no oxygen there, so there's no need. But something can be worked on, which is the charges. Here I have 2, here I have 0. So that means it will be wise of me to add 2 electrons to this place, so I can balance the charges of +2 minus 2 electrons. I know some of you may be thinking, oh, why is it minus when we are adding electrons? Because electrons negatively charged. So for me to add this electron means I'm actually removing it from this. So that becomes +2 minus 2. That's 0, 0. And my number of charges are balanced. Now, I'm supposed to eliminate the charges if they were not balanced, like I did in the acidic medium. But good for us, unfortunately, we have 2 electrons here and 2 electrons here. It's something I can eliminate easily. So what do? I just eliminate it without multiplying or doing my just like a simultaneous equation. I don't need that. So what do? The next step says you combine reactant for reactant, product for product. So what do? We start up here, which is 2AgS plus H2O, right? Plus this reactant here, Zn2 plus, all to give me Ag2O plus 2H plus Zn. Now, this looks like an acidic way of balancing. But for a basic medium, you have to move further. You cannot leave it as your hydrogen ion. So what you do is you add the appropriate, which is the next step you need to do in basic medium. You add the appropriate number of hydroxyl ion to both sides. You add the appropriate number of your hydroxyl ion to balance your hydrogen proton so that water can be formed. What do I mean? Now, because I have 2 moles of hydrogen proton here, so that means I am adding 2 moles of hydroxyl ion on both sides of the equation. That is what changes it to be basic. So how do I do that? This is 2Ag solid plus H2O plus Zn2 plus on both sides 2OH minus. Now this is Ag2O plus 2H plus OH, 2OH minus plus Zn. Right? So I have added this on both sides because I want to eliminate this hydrogen proton so water can be formed. So if I move further from that, I will be having 2Ag solid plus H2O plus Zn2 plus 2OH minus 2AgO, then plus this will give me 2 molecules of water. That's 2H2O plus Zn. Now, I have water here and I also have water here on different sides. So I can reduce my water molecule if this leaves, because it's more or less like a subtraction process. So this will leave for this and this will still be left to be H2O. So my overall equation becomes 2Ag solid plus Zn2 plus, because this have been given up like this. It's just like I'm reducing to the lowest term. Exactly. So that is this plus 2OH minus to give me Ag2O silver oxide plus, because out of this has been removed to reduce it to the lowest term, so I have H2O plus Zn solid. I've not been putting the state. I think this is aqueous, this is aqueous, this is aqueous, and this is aqueous. Yes. So now that is our balanced overall reaction in basic medium. You see that in the basic medium, we are left with, there is an hydroxyl that is symbolic, not just the hydrogen atom. Can you see that? So that is just balancing it in acidic medium, then balancing the hydrogen proton with the appropriate addition of the hydroxyl ion, So that is how you balance in basic medium, and that is all for the class. So don't forget to share and subscribe to our channel. This is Further Solution Academy. Once again, please do well to share and subscribe our links with your family and friends, and even your enemies. So our contact, if you want to reach us for comments, contributions, or anything, is +234 80344 95990. You can either call us or you can send